So I'm making green risotto today. So I like to call it Risotto Verde. Anyway, to make this, I'm going to need to make a green broth. So basically it's the liquid that I'm going to cook the risotto in. So this is what I have. I have a bunch of cilantro stem. And then I have a bunch of kale that I have cleaned, trimmed, and cleaned in a big two big bowls of water to make sure all the sand and grit is out of it. So now I'm going to cut everything up and I'm going to put it in the water. So it's easy. So let's see. I'm going to salt the water because fairly aggressively because I like to, well, as you know, everything needs to be seasoned layer by layer. So here, I'm going to cut up did I say kale? This is mustard, sorry. So I'm going to cut up the mustard into just fairly big pieces because it is going to be blended. So it does not really matter much how big it is. So that goes in. I'm going to put in the cilantro stems. And the rest of the mustard, not kale as I had stated before. I'm going to let some of the stem, probably not this because it's too hard, too tough. Take that out. The rest I'm going to chop up. And that will be the first part. And so I'm going to put everything in and give it a good stir and then let it cook for maybe 5-10 minutes at most. And then I'm going to let it slightly cool and then I'm going to blend it so that the broth is green. And you'll see as I progress why I'm doing this. Okay, so the mustard has been boiling for about 5 minutes and it's ready. So let's take a look. What I want is exactly this. It has a bright green color, but it is completely wilted and it is soft. So we're going to blend at least part, I would say probably half of this in with the cilantro that's already cooked in there. And but let's first, I need to season the finished product. So what I have here is miso. It's a Japanese ingredient. It adds a really good flavor as well as salt. So this has its own salt. Now remember the risotto is really just rice. So while it is going to be very creamy and has a very velvety texture, it's not going to have any flavor on its own. So it really depends on the broth to give it the flavor. So that's what I'm building right now. So I have some miso. It's about probably 2 tablespoons or so. And then here is a new ingredient, probably for most people. It is fermented bean curd. If you're Chinese, you're probably familiar with it. If not, then it can be found at a Chinese grocery store. And it has a cheesy flavor as well as a meaty flavor, without being the meat, being meat at all. So I even put in a tablespoon of the what I call the liquor. And this is salt and pepper. I put salt and pepper together. So kind of saves me a step of grinding salt and pepper separately. So that's that. I'm going to add more of this mustard. And I'm adding cold water now because I really don't want to get this too hot. As you know, it will be dangerous to blend something totally, boiling. So let me put the blender in. And blend away. I'm going to put a towel on top just in case. I'm going to start on slow. Alright, so this is what I was looking for. I'm going to take a taste and see what it's like. Wow, I think it's very good. So I'm going to add just a tad more of this green. And this time I don't want to blend all the texture out, but I just want to give it a good whirl. So as you know, the whole bunch of mustard cooks down to pretty much nothing. I imagine I'm going to need about 4 cups of liquid for this recipe. So I'm pretty much there. Last, to add the last layer of depth to this broth, I'm going to add a packet of this vegetarian broth concentrate to the mix. So this is a really robust flavor base for my risotto. I really can add the rest of the kale to this, but I think I'll save that for something else because it's very good by itself. Okay. Last time. Okay, we're done. Wow, amazing. Okay, I'm done with that. I'm going to set the broth aside. And now I actually do want it hot. I'll tell you why. Because to cook risotto, you need to have a constant, almost boiling hot liquid to work with. So what I'm doing now is I'm transferring this to a saucepan so that I can put it in the low simmer. I'm done with that for now. And so here we go. We have a pan here. I have one cup of risotto. And a cup of peas. So I'm going to turn the heat to high first, because I am cooking without any sort of oil. Normally, if you do use oil, this is the part where you actually put oil in the pan and saute your risotto. But since I'm not using any kind of oil, I kind of dry roast my rice. The purpose of that is to bring the rice, to toast the rice, and also to get the rice up to temperature. So the liquid is simmering, the risotto is it's pretty much toasted completely through without being burnt or having any color. So this might take a few minutes. So let's see. So this is pretty much technique we use for making pilaf, just to get the rice hot as well as toasted. Only in this case with rice toasting. And here on in is pretty much just stir, 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 add hot liquid, stir, stir, stir for 20 minutes. And there is no shortcut to that. So that's where the, so I'm going to have to, I know this is going to be boring, so I'm going to come back whenever there's something to be seen. Okay, so as you can see, the rice has been well toasted. You can see that there's quite a bit of heat coming out, so coming off. So I'm ready to add the hot liquid. So I'm going to add about a cup at first. It's going to be hot. Okay, and I'm going to start stirring. Ooh, cool. The idea is it would never drop in temperature, so there's constant heat to the risotto, and so you can see the liquid is absorbing very, very fast this first time. So stir, stir. Oh, a phone call. Hey, Emerald. What are you doing, buddy? Yeah, I'm making risotto. Like the way you taught me. Only I'm making the green risotto. It's a variation. It's my original recipe. Yeah, I'm glad you called because I have lots of time. You know, I have to stand here and stir forever. So anyway, I'm glad you called. And so, what do you need? Sure, no problem. So when it's all done, when the risotto is all done, I will get on it. Okay, I will certainly send you a picture. I'm putting this up on YouTube, so talk to you later. Okay, well, you have to wait. Alright, bye. See you later. Woo. Okay, so here we go. It's going to be a while. It's definitely has calmed down. Let's see. So maybe I would just check back in with the you know how the camera would check back in every once in a while, probably towards the end, so that you get to see the finished product. But look, the color is gorgeous, as you can see, and it's going to be really, really green. And at the end, I'm going to add some peas and top it with cilantro and avocado for some creaminess and goodness. All right, I'll see you in a little bit. So it's been about 20 minutes or so. I just want to show you the progress of the risotto. Now, I have added, maybe this is probably the 4th time I've just added the green broth to this rice. And as you can see, it's no longer dry kernels of rice, but they have kind of puffed up and they're beginning to get soft. I just tasted one rice grain and it's still not, obviously not quite ready. But it's getting more and more creamy. It's getting really pillowy and soft, and this is what it's supposed to look like. So as you can see, you have to stir and stir, unlike cooking rice where you bring the water and the rice to a boil, you put the lid on and you walk away for 15 minutes and you come back and it's done. This is the exact opposite. It needs constant attention, constant stirring, and that's what develops the creaminess. And of course, the broth itself is, you know, quite thick. And so you can see it's bubbling away, and just lower the heat a tiny bit. So what I'm going to be adding to it is as a garnish. Since it's all going to be green, I'm going to add this. The peas is going to go in at the last minute to completely heat through. They're frozen, so and then and I'm going to have sprigs and some sprigs of cilantro to garnish. So I just want to show you the last time, probably I'm just about ready to add a little bit more liquid. To this point, it's probably still not quite ready. So I want to take a taste of the kernel to see how it tastes. Okay, we are just about to finish up. So we have been stirring, and it's been a 20-minute marathon. So this is what it looks like at the finished point. So I already tasted it. It's al dente, what they say to the tooth. It's soft completely through, but every rice kernel, of course, rice grain, is still distinguishable, and of course it has the very creamy velvety texture. So to finish it off, I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to add a cup of peas, stir those in, and as you can see, I have some garnish here. I'm going to garnish it with avocados and finish it off with cilantro. So we're pretty much done, so let me get the avocado prepped for you. So I dice it like so. And then I'm going to use a spoon to scoop out the cubes. Okay, so ta-da, here's the finished product. So the peas are really bright green still, and the kale and cilantro broth had really gotten everything nice and green and pretty. All right. Now, for the garnish. Isn't that good? Okay. So a few sprigs of cilantro, which really adds a very exotic flavor. Okay, here you go. It's done.